Welcome to this In Focus short conversation on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're having a chance to speak with Sharon McDowell, who is the director of Help the Animals. Sharon, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure. You and I have not had a chance to talk to each other before. Give us a little bit of your background. How long have you been director of Help the Animals?
I've been the director of Help the Animals for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was a volunteer coordinator, and before that, I volunteered for a couple of years.
So you've been around the animals for quite a while.
I have, yes.
Right now, there are a lot of people thinking about owning an animal, adopting an animal. Talk a little bit about what your process is, how many animals you have coming in right now.
Well, right now, last month, for the month of April, we had a total of 55 animals that we took into the shelter. Some of them were puppies, some of them were mama cats with babies, with a whole litter. And then we have a contract with animal control. So we get all the animals from the city that also come into the shelter.
During this time, are you being fairly successful with your adoption program? Are you able to kind of keep up the numbers coming in with the numbers going out? Because I assume space is limited.
Yes, it's pretty close. Our adoption numbers are down a little bit from normal because we're operating by appointment only. And so we're not open to the public and people just can't walk in whenever they want. We're pre-screening so that they have an application filled out ahead of time. And that way we get them approved. So when they actually do come into the shelter for an appointment, they're already approved and they're ready to go.
If someone is thinking about adopting a pet, you're talking about pre-screening. Talk about the process of pre-screening. What do you mean? What kind of process do they have to go through? What kind of information are you looking for from them?
Well, there's lots of things we look at. One of the most important things is, do they own their own home or do they rent? If they rent, then we do need to get approval from their landlord to have an animal placed in that home. Okay. We look at a lot of other factors. We look at, excuse me, do they have a fence? Are they wanting to adopt a dog that is an escape artist? How tall is that fence? We have dogs that can jump a 6-foot fence. So we have to watch out for that. We watch out for if there's other animals in the home. Is there children in the home? Is there cats in the home? We have dogs that don't get along with other dogs. We have dogs that do not do well with cats because they will attack them. So we have to be really careful how we place animals. We have to make sure that we look at all those factors before we send an animal home.
How much of that legwork, as it were, do you all do? How much of it do you just rely on the honesty of people filling out the application?
Well, we actually do look up the deed of the home to see if it's deeded to that person, or we call the landlord. And they have to provide us with the phone number, and we call the landlord. So we make sure that we're getting firsthand knowledge and not, my landlord told me it was okay.
Right.
I get that a lot.
How long does the process normally take? How many visits does it take for somebody to figure out, yeah, I like this dog likes me, yeah, I'm a cat person, this feels real good, I'm ready to take this one home? Are there multiple visits back and forth?
Sometimes. We like to have all the paperwork done in advance so we know when they come in, whether they have children or other animals in the home or what the environment is. Mm-hmm. So that way we're not wasting time showing them animals that are not going to work for their environment.
When somebody's looking for an appointment, let's go there. How do they reach out to you? How far in advance do they need to make an appointment? What's your schedule like? You all are obviously working, I assume, limited hours, trying to be safe.
Yes. We have someone at the shelter Tuesday through Saturday. Right now, we're scheduling appointments between 12 noon and 4 p.m. on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And we tend to fill up that schedule. Now, if the schedule gets a little too full, we can open it up to the other days of the week. And we have it set up where we know if they're coming in just to buy pet meds, and we allot 15 minutes for that. If they're coming in to finalize an adoption, we allow 30 minutes for that. If they're coming in to look at an animal or to find an animal, we allow an hour for them to spend time with several animals and get to know them. And yes, sometimes it does take several visits until they feel comfortable. We do have a foster program, so if they're not sure about a particular animal, they can fill out a foster application, take it home and foster them. It's called a foster to adopt. So they can foster an animal for up to a week to see if that animal's going to work in their home or not. And they would either return the animal or come in and do the adoption paperwork.
Is that a program that you all are using or have thought about using for people right now? There are people who are home more right now, haven't been called back to work, things of that nature. They have more time than they normally would. Maybe they're thinking about having an animal, but on the other side of whatever this is we're all going through, life is going to happen and they may not have time for that animal. Is that a concern? Is your foster program something that works in that way?
Well, during this coronavirus, a lot of people are at home and they have the time and they have the desire to care for an animal, but they realize when they go back to work that they may not have that time. And so we have a program right now that's a foster program for people who want to help us out and care for an animal while they're sheltering at home. And so they can take an animal, and as long as they're home and can care for that animal, they can keep it for as long as they like. The animal is still up for adoption, and either they can adopt it or they would be bringing it back when they have to return to work. But it works out beautiful because it gets our dogs out of the shelter and gets them to a little normal life in a home and gets them out of the kennel. So it's beautiful. It works for everyone.
Sounds great. You're watching an In Focus short conversation on Whitewater Community Television's WGTV Channel 11. We're speaking with Sharon McDowell, who's the director of Help the Animals on West Main Street, 2101 West Main. Talk a little bit about for us, if you would, Sharon, what you all are doing in the way of social distancing, taking care of yourselves as well as taking care of the animals. We've heard on and off that pets could potentially get the coronavirus. Talk about what your expectation of residents are when they come in for an appointment. Do they need to be masked up? Is your staff masked up?
Our staff is masked up. We all wear face masks anytime we're working with the public because we don't know who's walking in that door or what their background is or where they're coming from. So we have a sign on our front desk asking them to wait for an employee to escort them in. And then also on that sign, we ask that they wear protective equipment. We would prefer that everyone that comes in to look at animals wear a face mask just for safety reasons. We are putting in a petition over the front desk, which is a plastic partition that you've seen in banks and some of the other places.
Right.
For our own safety, so we don't spread anything to them or get anything from them. So we're very careful about spacing out appointments, so we only have 1 to 2 people in the lobby at a time. So we're very careful about that.
If someone is thinking about it, wants to reach out to you all, give an address. Is there a website? If they want to see pictures of pretty kitties, they want to go on your Facebook page. Talk about what you're doing as far as social media and letting people know even your needs at this point, and maybe talk about what your needs are if you have any. Donations, dog food, cat food.
Yeah. We are a nonprofit organization, and we are 100% funded by the community. So all our cleaning supplies, our bleach, our detergents, laundry detergents, sanitizing detergents, trash bags, hand sanitizer, all that kind of stuff is donated to us from the community. And so we're greatly, greatly supported by the community in that way. So that has been really, really helpful to keep us going.
What is your primary means of reaching the community? Do you use a lot in the way of social media? And are you Facebook? Are you Twitter? Do you do any of that at all?
We do. We have a Facebook page, and it's helptheanimalsinc.com. And on our Facebook page, you can go into the Adopt tab, and you can look at all the animals that we have, cats and dogs, so you can get a preview of them before you ever come to the shelter, if there's a particular animal you'd like to see. Mm-hmm. Then we have a Facebook page, which is also Help the Animals, Inc. And that Facebook page is very active. We post every adoption, people that lost pets, that are looking for pets, that have found pets. We post pictures on our Facebook page to try and help reunite them with their families. Whenever we're in need of anything, we post that on our Facebook page. Any events that we have coming up or going on is on our Facebook page. Okay. So we have a lot of people. We have several thousand people that follow us on Facebook.
Nice. How, and last question, if you don't mind, as we get through the other side of this pandemic, talk about what you all plan to do to kind of get back out there in the community. I know that sometimes there are events at the Bark Park and things of that nature. What type of things are you all thinking about looking at doing as we kind of head into the summer and the fall, if anything?
There are several major events that we do every year. Every spring and every fall, we have a vaccination clinic, and it's held at the fairgrounds in one of the buildings there. And we just had to cancel our spring one because the city building was closed. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that rescheduled for the spring or not. Okay. We're working on that right now. And then every year, our biggest event that we have is Pet Walk, which is held at Glenn Miller Park, and everybody brings their animals and they go on a big walk, and we have contests and entertainment, all kinds of fun things going on, giveaways.
The dogs are dressed up.
Yep. We have costume contests. Yep. So that's our biggest event of the year. And we're not really sure what's going to happen with that event this year. We've been talking about if it's not feasible to have it in July at Glenn Miller Park, then maybe we would have to do something on a virtual type of program. Okay. But we're hoping to do it live. So
keep us up to date with what you decide on that.
Yes.
Anything I haven't asked you? Anything else you want the community to know before I let you go?
Come on in, look at the animals, adopt. We'd love to see you.
All right. Sharon McDowell, Director of Help the Animals, Inc., 2101 West Main Street. Thanks for taking some time.
Thank you.